everyone. My name is Rachel. I go by Rachel Onchain in the Base ecosystem. I am joined here today by builder number 001 on Base, Jesse Pollak. So Jesse Pollak, I'm so excited to be here with you today. We are here at Onchain Summit in San Francisco, IRL, building with the community, and it has been such an epic day. I emceed for the beginning half of the day, and Jesse's actually going to be doing a talk right after this. So yeah, we've gotten some time with him, and we're going to dive right into the interview. So Jesse, thanks so much for joining us. To start, could you briefly introduce yourself and share what initially drew you in to start your work at Coinbase and Base?
Yeah, so I dropped out of college. I had started a company, and it was about identity and security. And that business, we worked with a lot of crypto companies. So folks like Bitfinex and BitMEX back in 2013 and 14, but the business didn't ultimately work. And so as we were kind of figuring out what comes next, we went through an acqui-hire process. Coinbase made an offer to acquire us. My whole team actually ended up selling to Twilio, but I was so excited about crypto. I was so excited about Coinbase. I was like, no, like I'm going over there, and I joined Coinbase. And that was really the beginning of what has now been an almost 8-year journey. The first 5 years were building all of our consumer products at Coinbase. So I built Coinbase, Coinbase Pro, Coinbase Wallet, led all of the engineering teams that did that. And then the last almost 3 years has been starting with finding our way of figuring out what does it actually mean to bring Coinbase on chain, and then ending with Base. And we launched Base a little bit more than a year ago, and
that blows my mind.
It blows my mind too.
It's like oh my God, it's a
crazy.
baby.
It's still a baby. It's still day one, as I say to the team. But it's so incredible what's come together. And this moment today on Onchain Summit, I mean, it's kind of emotional for me to be here, because a year ago it was just us. We didn't know if anyone was going to believe in what we were doing. And now here we are a year later. There's millions of people all around the world who believe in Base. There's hundreds, thousands of builders who are here right now at Onchain Summit who are just being creative, doing their best work on chain. And that's what we were dreaming about from the beginning, and now it's coming true. So it's pretty special.
It has been a dream come true for me. The friendships I've made in this community, I mean, working with Late Night on Base, starting Let's Touch Base. And actually, I mean, this is a little bit of alpha on this video, but we are starting now Onchain Media, and this will be the first debut video for Let's Touch Base and Onchain Media. So I'm really excited about that. Yeah.
That's awesome. I love it.
And, we are now live at Onchain Summit. And I mean, to see the community come together like this, I mean, that must be, like you said, so emotional to see the fruits of your labor be paying off. And it's like now you've passed that torch to the community, and everyone's showing up. And this is actually a community-driven event.
Yeah.
Everybody came together the past 2 months to make this happen. Now Base and Coinbase, you guys are coming in and supporting this. And that's so amazing. So what are like some of the highlights of Onchain Summit that you're most excited about?
Yeah, well, I mean, the highlight that I'm most excited about is that we, the core Base team, had nothing to do with this event. Nothing. Right?
So
it's crazy.
awesome.
We just ran Base Camp 2 weeks ago, and so like that was where our attention was focused. But about 8 weeks ago, Kevin, who runs the Howard, and his team.
We love Kevin. Shout out to Kevin.
Shout out to Kevin. Kevin's incredible. They came to us and they said, hey, we want to throw Onchain Summit, and we want it to be a community-run event that brings together all the incredible builders on Base, and we want to do it in the center of San Francisco. And at first I was kind of like, you want to do what?
Like I got Base Camp 2 weeks before this. I don't know.
Exactly. It's like we have all these other things going. And they were like, no, like we're going to run it all. We have all of it handled. And over the last 8 weeks, that's exactly what they've done. I mean, you look at the creativity that they've brought to Base, all of the media that they've made. They put up a billboard that my friends are asking me about. Like literally, I get texts from friends being like, hey, I saw the Onchain Summit billboard. That's the first time I've ever seen Onchain on a billboard in San Francisco.
Do you know how long that's going for?
I don't know how long. I think it's like a month or something like that.
If you're watching this and you're coming to San Francisco, it is by the airport.
It's by the airport.
We got prime real estate for this thing. Yeah.
But I think that's like the first highlight, is just the fact that we now have people in the community like Kevin, like y'all, who are organically understanding what Base is all about, and then bringing their energy to show that to the world. And so that's the first thing. Other things that get me fired up about Onchain Summit, I mean, so many things. We just had an incredible performance.
Like that was
those
so much fun.
musicians, putting their music on chain with accordion. That is like wow, so representative of the creativity that is existing on Base and emerging on Base. Down in the basement, there's the dot bags and the tote bags where people are literally taking memes that they've put into embroidery patches and embroidering them on bags, like beautiful leather bags. It's streetwear. There's shoes, like that sort of kind of like cool, like cultural cool. That's not something I've ever really seen before on chain, but it's also not something that we were like, oh yeah, we got to go do something cool. No, it's like people were like, we want to just do cool shit on Base, and that is. I mean, that gets me so fired up. I'm obviously excited to talk about Base and what we're doing in a little bit. And then I'm excited for Poker Night.
Oh my
all
God,
the memes
yes,
came together
we're
to
all
like sponsor poker in the name of charity and, you know, helping with the Warriors Foundation. I mean, that combination is so, it's just so potent. It's creativity, it's energy, it's positivity, it's philanthropy. And so I'm really excited to get to have some fun while doing all of that.
Definitely love to see the focus on impact here for sure in this community.
Yeah, and I mean, I think this is really what Onchain is all about. It's about recognizing that the current systems that we have today as a society are broken.
Yeah,
they're not working. They're not working for creators. They're not working for builders. They're not working for small businesses. And in order to fix that, we need to build new systems with this new technology platform that is helping us build a new economy that's going to be a global economy that's going to increase innovation, creativity, and freedom. And if we do that, when we do that, what's going to happen is that we are going to be able to serve and support and help all of the people, whether they're small businesses or the most marginalized communities.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, that's what it's all about.
I mean, you're doing it, and it starts with the baby steps, right? I mean, now we have coffee days going on, right? That we saw Caitlyn Jenner even post about. So coffee days is something we can start in our local communities, getting these coffee shops to accept on-chain transactions, and just like going out to your local coffee shop, talking to someone in person. I mean, like I just had the makeup artist here like onboarded this morning just from a simple conversation. So it doesn't have to be this over-engineered thing. It can just be building real relationships 100%, in person.
100%. And this was one of our big kind of themes from Basecamp and the messages for builders as we head into the next year of Base was it's up to all of us to get new people on chain.
Amen.
And it's not something that requires a massive, amount of complexity. It's like you can onboard your friends, you can onboard your family, you can onboard your partner, you can onboard the makeup artist who you're working with. You can literally onboard anyone. And the tools have finally gotten good enough where you can just send them USDC with a text message.
Oh my God,
or you
that's
can
so
help
exciting.
your local small business accept USDC by just giving them a little kit that will help them do it. And when they do it, they're going to make it so they pay less fees, that they have a better experience, that they attract more customers. And so that like kind of usability and accessibility combined with the energy of people like you, bringing people on chain. I mean, that's what it's all about. And I will just say, like, I just have to give you a shout out.
Oh my God, like, Jesse, sorry, you're making me blush right now.
People don't know all about Rachel, but Rachel DM'd me, I think on Telegram, maybe like 2 months ago. And she was like, what can I do to help with Base? And I was like, well, there's a lot of different things you can do. You could help with community events. You could, start telling the story of Base. And since that moment, I think I've probably like given Rachel, I've like pointed her in the right direction. I've connected her to a few people. And then she's just gone and like done.
I went to Tokyo and hosted my
She went to
first
Tokyo.
Space
She taught a conference. She started a talk show on Spaces. She's hosted meetups. She's here. She has a whole like film crew here filming this moment where we're filming. I mean, that sort of like self-starting energy, that sort of like willingness to just build, like not talk but build. That is, I think, what defines Base, and you are kind of like someone who's embodying that to its fullest. So I'm just super grateful to be here with you.
I mean, I'm just beaming right now. Just the fact that we got this interview. I mean, we started talking a couple months ago, and I just felt this synergy. Like, actually, there's a quote from the Onchain Summit kickoff, like the meme kickoff. I'm going to pull it up right now because this really inspired me, and it's part of the personalized gift I got you. So I had a moment of clarity when I heard Jesse say this. I was like, I think this is the place for me, and that is why I have jumped in head first to help the Base and Coinbase team proliferate their message of bringing the world on chain. So Jesse said, keep building and stay based. Do the right thing, work hard, be optimistic, put the team over the individual, and push boundaries with creativity. When I heard that, I was like, okay, this is something special they got here. And it's the attitude. It's the attitude of the team. It's their dedication to this mission. And also the vibe, the energy. It's just fun working in the Base ecosystem. Everybody has fun. No one takes themselves too seriously, which is just a breath of fresh air. Everyone's here to have fun and make friends and build meaningful connections. So, Jesse, thank you for just point me in the right direction here and there.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you seeing it, and I appreciate you reading back like that quote around what it means to stay based. And the reason why because now I say it, I'm like stay based, and then I define what it actually what I mean, where it's about being optimistic, working hard, pushing boundaries with creativity, putting the team over the individual. And the reason why we kind of repeat that over and over again is because it is kind of like a siren call, right? Like we say it
worked for me,
and then there are people out there who hear it and they're like, oh,
I've been looking for this.
I've been looking for this, right? Like, this is what I'm looking for. And then they commit to helping bring the world on chain. And if enough people hear that, enough people see that, enough people believe in that, slowly but surely, we're going to bring millions and tens of millions and hundreds of millions and billions of people on chain. And we're actually going to build this global on-chain economy that increases innovation, creativity, and freedom. And we're going to do it in such a way that because all of us are inspired by that vision of staying based, it's going to be deeply built into the entire economy. And if that's the case, it's going to be a better economy for everyone. And that really is like why we are doing this work, to build a better economy, a based economy that works for the world.
Wow. And I mean, just the fact that you did that, every engagement, every time you open this dialogue and conversation, like you did with the kickoff, just you showing up and doing that has such a butterfly effect, because it inspired me to go out to Tokyo and host a meetup on a rooftop, to bring more people on in Japan. It inspired me to talk to the makeup artist this morning, who we spent 3 hours together. Now she's onboarded into the ecosystem, created a video about Base and Coinbase. So, just showing up and being a part of this conversation the way Jesse has really has a butterfly effect. And I am curious, because you kind of helped me with my branding a little bit, my personal branding. Jesse actually took a look at my LinkedIn. He was like, hey, I really think you should replace all Web3 and blockchain with Onchain. And I was like, okay, interesting. So, I've been thinking over the years, like, what's a cool crypto Web3 name? So I actually changed my name on Twitter, Instagram, Telegram to Rachel Onchain. And it's just felt so right. And I'm curious if you can talk about the importance of using the term on-chain over words like blockchain or Web3.
Yeah, I mean, and this is something that I've been kind of struggling with for now a decade, since the beginning of crypto. Is I think like what we have seen is that over the last kind of 10 years, we've gone through a bunch of different words trying to communicate to the world what we're actually doing. First, it was just Bitcoin, because that was the only thing that was there. Then it was crypto, because we had more things. We kind of wanted to expand it. But crypto felt kind of like scary. It felt a little maybe sinister to people, or a little complicated, complex technologically. So then we tried like blockchain. Maybe that would feel more accessible. That didn't really land. Then we tried Web3, and there was a big push around that. But I think like with the NFT boom and then the crash, that kind of got soured in a lot of people's minds. And I think really just in the last couple of years, we've stumbled on this word on-chain. And I think the thing that I really love about on-chain is that it has a very clear analogy to online. And everyone in the world has kind of, at least current folks in the world, have seen over the last 20 years how the world has gone from offline to online. And they have a clear mental model for that. They're like, oh, online was a technology that transformed the world for the better. And the thing about on-chain is that you can directly draw that line. So you can say, just like online brought us from offline to online and connected all of us, on-chain brings us from online to on-chain and gives us a new economy that makes the internet work better. And when you say that, people are like, oh, that's what you're talking about? You're talking about a new technology platform that's going to upgrade these systems? And so that was kind of the first thing. We just kind of organically saw people reacting positively to on-chain. But then we've also gone out and researched it. We've like talked to people. We've done user research.
Cryptic Poet, actually, shout out to Cryptic Poet, showed me the research. He's like, yeah, Jesse found out like people search up on-chain more than any other term in relation to blockchain and crypto.
So it's I think proving to be a word that is familiar and friendly, and that even if people don't know what it is at first, they can much more easily grok it. So they can go from, I don't know what on-chain is, to I get on-chain, and I can analogize it to the transformation of online and get that we're building a new economy in like 30 seconds. Whereas if you use words like Web3 or blockchain or crypto, you end up having to try and explain all this. You're like, well, it's like a block of chains that's decentralized that like, is better. And you're like, oh no, it's like about cryptography. So Web 3, you're like, oh, it's like, Web 2. And then you have to be like, well, what's Web 2? And they're like, so much jargon. And I think with Onchain, it is immediately grokked by people, which is really powerful.
Yeah. I mean, I had an interview. I don't know if you know Wendy O, but I brought her onto this podcast I was hosting and producing, and we were talking about Web 3. And she's like, yeah, I don't think Web 3 exists yet. I don't think that's a proper term to use. So that's interesting you bring that up. I want to talk next about shifting the narrative and purpose of this industry. So globally, we see a lot of individuals, like you mentioned, who are skeptical, who might be confused about crypto. I'm curious what Base and Coinbase are doing to kind of shift that narrative and solve problems for everyday people to have that connection to understand, oh, this is a technology that can be positive for me and kind of remove that skepticism.
Well, I think like language is a big part of it. We just talked about on-chain. But I think the other big part of it is showing, not telling, right? We can talk all we want about this technology transformation, but unless people are seeing it in their day-to-day lives, like, it's not going to matter. And so I think one of the ways we've been doing that is with the summer and coffee days this whole Accept USDC campaign that we've been running, which has really been about saying, hey, the systems aren't working for small businesses right now. The average small business in the United States has a margin of 3 to 6%. That means that 3 to 6% of their overall revenue they make in profit. Credit card fees, the average credit card fees for those businesses is between 3 and 4%. And so what that basically means is that the whole margin is credit card fees. Like, they take it, and if you got rid of all the credit card fees, it would double a business's margin. And that's exactly what you can do on chain. And there's now tens of businesses around the world accepting USDC at 0 fees. And then there's people all around the world who are walking into coffee shops and saying, oh, I can pay for coffee in USDC and it's cheaper, faster, and easier. And it's better for the business.
There we
and
go.
It's better for the growers.
It's net positive for
now
everyone.
I get it.
Yeah.
It's a new economy. So I think providing those sorts of really concrete, real world experiences where we're not just talking, we're not just seeing speculation, but we're actually making people's lives better. That's what's going to actually bring us to this next phase of on-chain adoption.
Wow. Well, that's a beautiful thing. And this has impacted so many people. And, talking to Chintin on a Twitter space, he was like, yeah, I want to come out to Berkeley, Rachel, and help you with setting this up. And Berkeley, I mean, there's so many small businesses that I want to go out and just, make an impact with, all these different coffee shops and mom and pop shops. I think that's a really ripe area, especially, being in the Bay Area here. But I know we are getting to the end of our time here. So let's see. One of the last questions I wanted to ask you was about meme culture on Base. So let's dive into it. So the Base chain has seen some really successful meme projects. And I'm curious why you think meme culture is so strong on Base and how you see this playing a role in mass adoption.
Yeah. So first off, if you look at meme culture on chain, I think one of the things that is often overlooked is that it's really just an extension of meme culture that's been online for the last 20 years, right? When you look at what has kind of grown the internet and has brought a ton of connectivity to the internet, it is memes. Right. And they've been on places like 4chan and Reddit and Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. But like, that's what people are sharing in their DMs. That's what my wife sends me is memes. And so I think what we're seeing happening on chain right now is that content format is kind of finding a new home, and it's finding a new technology platform that gives it new superpowers. And one of the new superpowers is making it so that the meme can actually more directly accrue value to the creators and the community who's proliferating that meme, rather than to these centralized platforms that have historically profited off the memes without the creators actually benefiting. And so that transformation, I think, is a technology shift. And I think what is kind of making it happen on Base is that from the beginning, we've said Base is going to be the place that onboards the world. And memes are such a powerful tool for onboarding. It's something that's easy to share with your friends. It's something that is easy to connect with. It's fun. It's funny. It's creative. And it gives anyone a context where they can express their own creativity in whatever way they want. And some people are going to, post about Doomer. And some people are going to post about Boomer. And some people are going to post about Thank You Base God. And some people are going to post about their favorite cat, Toshi. Like, there's all of these different ways memes can be creative. And I think that gives a context for people to bring their friends on chain, bring their families on chain, and bring the world on chain. And so that I mean, that's what it is all about. And I think one of the things that I feel really grateful for is that the meme culture on Base is a based culture.
Amen.
It embodies those values that we talked about. It's not PvP. It's not something where people are just like trying to extract value or make a quick buck. It's people who are seeing this as a creative outlet for themselves, for their communities, and are committing to the long-term work of bringing the world on chain. And they're using memes to do that. And so that, I mean, it's so based, and it's been so fun to be here at Onchain Summit, see all of these based memes, get to interact with them, get to get cool swag, and yeah, I'm excited to see more of them crop up.
Absolutely. And by the way, for anyone watching, if you haven't seen Coinbase's campaign with Mr. Miggles, please check that out because that's such a good video. And
such a good video.
Also, shout out to Sarah Wolf doing marketing at Coinbase. I mean, this woman is a legend. The narrative and the storytelling of all of Coinbase's videos, it just breaks these things down in such a digestible manner. So definitely check out the video of Mr. Miggles because it really talks about how we're rewarding and incentivizing creators that make the creations we love. So, okay, we are at time here, but I do want to ask you a bonus question. Since we're here and we have coffee days happening in cities around the world, can you tell us, Jesse Pollak, how you take your coffee?
Yeah, so I don't drink caffeine, which people might be a little confused.
I'm mind blown. Like at the level of work you're able to do. So what is it? Is it yerba mate?
No, I don't drink caffeine. I drink a decaf cappuccino, and I make myself one every morning. So I have an espresso machine at home.
We got oat milk in there.
Decaf beans, no, whole milk.
Whole milk, okay.
Decaf beans, you grind them, put them in the espresso machine, pour a nice espresso, froth my milk, put it in there. It's like my favorite part of the day.
Awesome,
I used to drink like a lot of chai lattes, but even those are a little too caffeinated for me. So yeah, I do a decaf cappuccino.
Awesome, cool. Well, Jesse, thank you so much for taking the time today. Thank you for the work you do for our community and beyond. I mean, for the world, bringing the world on chain, helping builders in our ecosystem to have a home like myself. I mean, I found my home on Base and with Coinbase. So thank you so much for the work you do. And yeah, we're really looking forward to hearing your talk here in a few minutes.
Thanks for all you do, Rachel. Appreciate you having me.
Thanks.